Hi Fire Buddies, this episode is for you. The main question that we eventually will have to ask ourselves is, when we reach financial independence and have taken however long of a vacation we feel we need to unwind and relax and live, laugh, love, eat, love, pray, whether that is a month or 3 months or a year or two, what will we do when we come home from the beach? What will you do that will give your life a sense of meaning or purpose? Now, before we go any further, let's take a moment to acknowledge how far up Maslow's hierarchy of needs we are now for most of you watching. Let's express some gratitude. If we have the privilege of being able to put a basic roof over our heads, buy groceries, have access to clean running water and electricity, we are already much better off than most of the world. 1/4 of the world does not have access to clean running water. 13% of people do not have access to electricity. If you have about $5,000 to your name, you are already better off than about half of the world, according to a CNBC article from 2018. We already really have a lot to be grateful for. That said, since we are human and we strive for excellence, there's nothing wrong with wanting more, way more, creating more for ourselves and for those around us, and improving our own well-being and that of the world. As I've said in the past, wealth is not a zero-sum game. It can be created. We don't have to take from someone else. Instead, we can collaborate and everyone can get rich together. At one of my previous jobs, we had a quarterly seminar called Joy in Practice. And most of my colleagues and I loved it mainly because we got to take a break from patient care duties for an afternoon. It got me thinking, because I don't want life to just be about doing tasks that we feel obligated to do. Clicking buttons on the electronic medical record, typing notes to make money, to take breaks only when our supervisors allow us to, and then to die 15 years after we retire. And being in my mid to late 30s, I definitely started to more seriously evaluate how to spend more time doing things that bring meaning or joy to make me feel like I was making a positive impact on others. If you want to know what the new wealthy are purchasing with their money, it isn't Jordans or Gucci bags or BMWs. It is more time to do what they really love. Show me your success with how much time you can take off without working. Your nice things that you traded your time suffering for don't really impress most people, unfortunately. Now, if you happily traded your time to buy the nice things, I could be on board with that. One of the reasons that I started this YouTube channel was to provide value to you, to inspire you to take control of your finances so that you aren't shackled to your paycheck, so that you can start doing more things that are meaningful to you. If I could facilitate change for someone who wanted their life changed, how awesome would that be? If I could improve your physical health as a doctor and improve your mental and financial health as a YouTuber, that would provide me with so much meaning. How would you feel if you never had to ask permission for another day off that you feel that you needed or wanted to work on your mental health or physical health? One of my friends was telling me how stressed out she was because she didn't have any more sick days to take when her daughter was feeling under the weather and had to stay home. Imagine finally being able to take care of yourself and your loved ones whenever you need it to, on your terms, not when someone else is looking at your accumulated hours and deciding whether that would be allowed for you. I would love that for you, and I want to be a part of helping you to get there. Advocating for folks who have worked hard has always been my goal, and now I get to do that with these videos. So I wonder for you, what would you want to do when you reach FIRE? When you have enough money invested that you can do anything that you want? Would you want more family time? Watch your kids grow up, go to their basketball practices or recitals, or perhaps more time to spend with friends to have brunch on a whimsical Tuesday, or to be able to travel during the shoulder season to take advantage of deals, or take a spontaneous road trip where you just drive somewhere, planning your way as you go, or work on a hobby like photography or music or art. Maybe you want to start a business where you can really apply your skills and creativity to bring a product to market that can make someone else's life easier or more enriched. Imagine not having to fear Mondays and not having to just celebrate on Fridays. That is the feeling that I want you to get. I want you to visualize this. I want you to get there. The interesting thing about modern society, especially in first world countries, is that productivity seems to be a measure of success. So many folks have asked me, Henry, wouldn't you get bored if you just retire early? Like, what are you gonna do? Just sit at home all day? To that, I answer, definitely not. There are so many wonderful and exciting things I want to do when I reach financial independence, many that I have already mentioned earlier. This culture of work being tied so closely to our identities leads a lot of folks to think that you start losing a part of yourself if you start working less or leave a certain job completely. This idea that busyness equals success has led many people to overwork, leaving little time for recovery. So we must start to let go of some of these social constructs, because in the end, what matters is not what other people think, but what you think is best for yourself. And perhaps when you reach financial independence, you still want to continue in your current profession, but you get to work on your terms and practice your craft how you want to. I think one solution to improving our mental health is to decrease the feeling of obligation. We can finally be able to choose which challenges we want to tackle and where we want to apply our energy, instead of being at the whim of an institution and the metrics imposed upon us. I'll speak about medicine and specifically primary care, which has some of the highest burnout rates. We won't be able to single-handedly change our field and all the challenges that come with it, but we can focus more on the aspects that bring us more satisfaction. Imagine being able to provide yourself with whatever you consider a reasonable amount of time with your patients and not having to worry about churning through and rushing, which can minimize unforced errors and promote better relationships. Imagine being able to say no when someone's behavior crosses the line and feeling empowered to speak up for yourself, where you no longer have to live in fear. Imagine how much more value you would be able to bring to the world if you had energy, because you actually are able to give yourself adequate time to rest, recharge, and exercise. Personally, I feel like my enjoyment of medicine is like my enjoyment of ice cream. There's an amount that's good, and you definitely don't want to go overboard. How would you feel if you could work 20 to 30 hours a week as opposed to 50 and still have the same annual income because your investments are working hard to support you on the days that you aren't working? For me, I won't have to imagine much longer. I am right on track to becoming financially independent by age 43. I'm telling you this not to brag, but to show you that it's totally possible. The key is to set a savings goal and then execute that saving automatically by setting up automatic withdrawals and transfers with every paycheck. As an example, I have set up auto transfers for my 403b retirement plan, my traditional to Roth IRA conversion, and my brokerage accounts. Afterwards, I can comfortably spend on things that bring joy and minimize spending on things that don't. This way you can simultaneously live your life and not feel like you are sacrificing anything as you approach your FIRE number. The beautiful thing that happens when you have a certain amount invested is that every day your investments make money for you and regenerate and replenish at the rate of the use of your money, so that you should not run out for the rest of your life. I hope that by now you are visualizing your rich life and trying to figure out a way to get there. I'll be making more of these videos to help you, so stay tuned. And if you enjoyed this episode, please share it with a friend. And don't forget to subscribe to Go On Fire for more stimulating talks about money. So, happy saving, happy spending, happy investing, and let's get financially savvy together.